Just as the butcher was about to slaughter a large black pig, he saw something moving inside its belly. He squatted down and touched it, clearly feeling the outline of a piglet. He looked up at the employer and said, "This sow is pregnant. You can't kill her." The employer urged, "It's better to kill her while she's pregnant. The meat will be fatter." "I don't care. She has to be slaughtered today." The butcher frowned. "Slaughtering a sow while she's pregnant is bad karma. Here's what I'll do. I'll give you 5 strings of cash to sell her to me." The employer's eyes lit up. 5 strings of cash weren't much less than selling pork, and he wouldn't have to wait for the slaughter. He immediately nodded. The butcher cut the pig's rope, led it out of town, found a secluded hillside, untied the rope, and said, "Go, find a safe place to slaughter her." The pig didn't leave. It circled him 3 times, nuzzled his hand with its head, and then slowly ran into the woods. The butcher turned back to town. Just as he reached the alley entrance, he saw a girl squatting in a corner crying, her clothes tattered, clutching half a hard, dry pancake in her hand. The butcher, he went over to ask the girl what was wrong. The girl looked up, her face streaked with tears. "My parents are gone. I've been fleeing famine all this way, but I can't find a way to survive. I'm so hungry I can't stand it anymore." The butcher was kind-hearted, and remembering the sow he had just released, he sighed and said, "Come with me. My family still has food to eat." The girl's name was Peach Blossom. She went home with the butcher. The butcher's surname was Wong, and his name was Wong Air. His parents had died early, and he lived alone. Peach Blossom was hardworking and helped with the laundry and cooking every day, keeping the house clean and tidy. Wong Air continued to slaughter pigs and sell meat every day, and they lived a stable life. However, Peach Blossom always missed her parents and often secretly wiped away her tears at night. Wong Air saw this and often bought her extra rice and flour, and occasionally gave her a piece of cloth to make new clothes. Peach Blossom felt warm inside and became even more considerate of Wong Air. About 20 days later, Wong Air finished his business and returned home. As soon as he opened the gate, he saw a basket of fresh green vegetables covered in dew, and next to it was half a bag of whole grains. The yard was full of brown rice. He assumed Tao Hua had bought it and asked as soon as he entered, "Why did you buy so much today?" Tao Hua shook her head, her hands still sewing. "I didn't buy it. I've been mending clothes at home since early this morning. I didn't go out at all." Wang Er was puzzled. He touched the brown rice. It was still dry and didn't seem like it had been stored for a long time. But in the following days, strange things happened one after another. Every day at the crack of dawn, something would be placed at the gate of the yard. Sometimes it was a bunch of tender chives and a few eggs. Sometimes it was a fat or lean wild rabbit. Occasionally, there would be a piece of still warm wild boar meat. Wang Er was suspicious and decided to investigate. That night, he didn't sleep. Before dawn, he moved a small stool, squatted on the yard wall, and stared intently at the gate. After about an hour, a soft humming sound came from the distant woods. Then, a familiar figure slowly walked over. It was Shang. The sow he released the last time had a noticeably smaller belly, and several chubby pink piglets followed behind her. The sow carried a bundle of greens in her mouth, gently placed it at the gate, nudged it with her snout to make sure it was secure, and then took a few steps back with her piglets. Seeing no movement in the yard, She turned and walked a few steps towards the woods, glancing back once more. Wang Er watched the sow's retreating figure, feeling both warm and bittersweet. It turned out she had come to repay his kindness. The next morning, he specially went to cut a basket of the tenderest pig feed and placed it at the gate, along with half a bowl of cornmeal. When he returned from packing up, the pig feed and cornmeal were gone, but a few wild clumps of hay had appeared at the gate. From then on, the sow came even more often, sometimes playing with her piglets in the open space outside the yard. When she saw Wang Er returning from outside, she would lead her piglets over, rubbing her head against his trouser legs. The piglets would also circle his feet, grunting and squealing, looking adorably silly. Every time, Wang Er would squat down and stroke the sow's head, feeding the piglets. Over time, it felt like they had gained a few more family members. Just as life settled down, less than 2 months later, a plague suddenly broke out in the city. At first, only a few people had fevers and coughs, but within a few days, more and more people fell ill. Cries and wails filled the streets, and the thresholds of pharmacies were worn down. However, Lu Gui, the only pharmacy owner in the city, was a heartless man. Seeing the plague raging, he took the opportunity to hoard plague medicine, raising the price of medicine that originally cost a few coins per dose to 50 coins. Ordinary people could not afford it. Many families watched helplessly as their loved ones died because they could not afford the medicine. The streets and alleys were filled with desolation. Tao Hua felt heartbroken seeing this and spent her days in tears. Brother Wang, what are we going to do? So many people are dying. Wang Er was frantic. He had saved some money selling meat, but even if he took out all his savings, he couldn't buy many doses of medicine. Wang Er frowned, thinking, Manager Lu is too heartless. He's profiting from the national crisis. I heard there's a herb in the mountains called honeysuckle that can cure lung heat and coughs. Maybe it can cure this plague. Why don't we go to the mountains and look for it? Wang Er's eyes lit up, but then he was worried again. The mountains were a complex terrain with wild animals, and besides, they didn't recognize honeysuckle. Just then, a grunting sound came from outside the courtyard wall. Wang Er looked up and saw that it was the spirit pig with its piglets. It was carrying a plant with small yellow and white flowers in its mouth, placed it at Wang Er's feet, nudged it with its snout, and grunted a few times towards the mountains. Could this be honeysuckle? Peach Blossom crouched down, picked up the herb, and examined it closely. Wang Er also came over and touched the leaves. It looks like something I saw in the countryside when I was a child, he thought. This must be honeysuckle. Wang Er was both surprised and delighted. Looking at the spirit pig, he said, Old friend, are you taking us to the mountains to collect spirit pigs? The spirit pig seemed to understand and nodded, then turned and walked towards the village entrance, glancing back at them from time to time. Wang Er immediately grabbed his sickle, bamboo basket, and followed the spirit pig into the mountains with Peach Blossom. The spirit pig knew the way well and led them to a sunny hillside covered with honeysuckle, as well as many dandelions, Isida's root, and other herbs. The two were overjoyed and quickly began to pick them. The spirit pig stood guard nearby, chasing away any approaching rabbits or pheasants to protect them. After a busy day, the two gathered several baskets full of herbs and returned to the city. Wang Er and Tao Hua set up a small stall in front of their house, brewing medicine for the people free of charge.